Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you in another video. Alright, so I think the door is wide open for JJ Redick to pretty much take the Laker job because Ty Lue got his extension today with the LA Clippers. 5 years, 70 mil from what I understand. I didn't get that from a reliable source, to be honest with you. So I'm not really sure if the framework is accurate, but that is what I read. But 5 years, 70 is what I'm running with. And if it's something else, please forgive me. But I can honestly say I didn't get that from the official source. I got that from somebody who commented under Woj's post. So that may not be what it is, but he's definitely going back to the Clippers. That's official. And so I think that's the only thing that would kind of otherwise kept JJ Redick from getting a job is if Ty Lue became available. And that didn't seem realistic to me because we know that Ballmer does not want to lose Ty Lue to the Lakers. That's for damn sure. He had 1 year left on the deal, so it wasn't like they were probably going to fire him. If anything, he would have to have resigned and then signed with the Lakers. And I just thought that was a lot of steps, especially since there's so much about JJ Redick that is kind of floating around the situation. Obviously, Ty Lue didn't have a good negotiation tenure with the Lakers last time. So I figured he may not necessarily want to come back to the Lakers negotiation table under these circumstances especially. So I thought it was more likely he would go back to the Clippers. Clippers got a brand new building coming up, that he probably would want to be a part of. You got Paul George, tenure kind of in limbo right now. He could potentially be a free agent. So I thought it would probably be a much better talking point if he was bringing back his coach that they trust, rather than put themselves in a position to not have that answer be in place and try to negotiate with Paul George, who may already have 1 foot out the door anyway. So we got your coach back. I think that probably sits better for them, who I think Paul George is their most important priority right now. So you take care of Ty Lue, you keep him from going to the Lakers, and then you try to get back to the negotiation table with Paul George, who I think is a very important star for them right now. So Kawhi Leonard, from what I understand, has an extension. I don't know if that was a recent statement. I overheard someone say something about an extension where Kawhi Leonard has been signed for 3 years. Of course, he made the second all-NBA team over LeBron James, specifically, of whom we all believe should be there in his stead. But, I think that goes a long way in regards to his leverage in this league right now, too. So looks like the Clippers are going to try to run it back with what they have going into the new building. And I suspect that there might be some reason to believe that some moves will be made at the deadline in regards to this team, because I don't think they're good enough to make a move or not make a move and win a championship. I don't. And I think a lot of this is what they're putting together is for optics going into the new building so their team doesn't suck trying to open that building. But after they get started, they realize they're a first-round exit team. And with a timeline that's win now, and it just ain't good enough to win. So I got a feeling something could shake up, and they'll probably make some moves at the deadline. But for now, this is what it looks like. So for all of us Laker fans, this opens up the door for us to basically just sign JJ Redick as our coach. I think that's all things are pointing at that being already pretty much a done deal. And as soon as the finals in, for which JJ is a announcer for, we'll just bring him through the door at that point. They're already talking about who they want to bring in as assistant coaches for him. Sam Cassell is the name that I've read that could potentially be his assistant. So I know Sam was someone that they thought could potentially interview for the head coaching position, but that doesn't look like that's going to be a position offered to him. But he may still be with the organization. He right now is an assistant coach with the Celtics, so I'm not particularly sure he's going to be leaving the Celtics to go to the Lakers, especially since the Celtics are literally in the finals right now. So I still have my doubts that Sam Cassell could potentially be leaving them to come to us as a same position, in that same position. But who knows? I don't know what his personal ideas would be. Maybe he wants to move to LA. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, that looks like that doesn't seem realistic to me. But nevertheless, JJ Redick looks like he's going to be the coach, and they are trying to insinuate that his coaching staff is already being dreamt up. So that's what I can say. None of that is confirmed, but so yeah, that's what it looks like, man. That's what the tea leaves are showing me. JJ's probably pretty much the coach, unless something unforeseen takes place, like Ty Lue's negotiation process falling apart last minute, and then him getting angry with the Clippers and deciding to bolt toward the Lakers. I think the Lakers would then hire Ty Lue potentially, but even that, with all the smoke going around JJ Redick's name in the Lakers, may not actually be the case. I think if anything, once they started realizing that JJ is likely to be the coach, I think Ty Lue then made his decision to sign the extension. I think that's more along what it is I think is going on there. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't have a problem with JJ being our coach. I really don't. Obviously, I have my reservations about us hiring anybody without head coaching experience or assistant coaching experience or college coaching experience. You know, JJ's coaching Little League guys, but at this point, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I'm just completely against the personality JJ Redick taking on a job in this situation. If anybody you trust to be able to overcome these type of things, it would be somebody like JJ Redick. So if anything, I would trust JJ in this situation more so than I trust most, based on what I've seen him do in other fields and succeed so quickly without experience. Particularly how well he's taken onto TV. He really translates well onto television and has taken on multiple roles as a TV personality, from a guy who was shooting basketball just 2 years ago to being a podcaster, being a main announcer on a basketball team, national platform, being in the booth with guys, being in the studio with guys. I mean, he's pretty much taken that by storm in a way that few actually do. So that tells me he adapts well on the fly. And so I would love if he had some coaching experience, but he's trying to get in there, man. He's trying to get in there now, and looks like the Lakers are going to be the team that gives him that opportunity, and having that relationship with LeBron James is definitely not hurting the cause. So I'm welcoming JJ in. I don't expect him to, lead us to a championship this first year, unfortunately, and those are the expectations that we have for our franchise at all times. So I just know this ain't a championship year, not with a rookie coach. I said it last year with Darvin. I'm going to say it again with JJ. It's just, if you expect to be hoisting a trophy at the end of the year, you're setting yourself up for failure mentally. So I'm not. No, I'm not at all. Even if we bring in that third starter everybody seems to want to do, but I don't think so. I don't think it works. So I know that there was an interview with Taurean Prince on Laker Nation. I haven't seen it, but I did hear the talking points from it. And essentially, Taurean does want to come back. I don't know if it would be something that the Lakers would be able to do based on our cap situation. From what I understand, we'd have to move some salary in order to put him in at anything more so than the $5 million taxpayer mid-level or something like that. So if he wants to take $5 million, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be a problem. But if he wants to take more than that, then it's going to take some flexibility to make it happen. My opinion on Taurean Prince is it shouldn't be a problem bringing him back, because the problem was Darvin Ham's overusing of Taurean. It wasn't necessarily Taurean as a piece or him as a personality. He wasn't a bad guy to have in the locker room, I don't imagine. He wasn't a bad guy to have on the court. You just know he's not a starter at 35 minutes a game. But if you play him his role, he can help you on both sides of the floor. If you don't ask him to do stuff that he's not, best for being asked to do, he was a hell of a piece. It was just his Darvin Ham's usage of him that made us irritated. And a lot of times that would get translated to us being irritated with him, because he'd be on the floor making all the mistakes that you would expect a player of his caliber to make in those circumstances. But I thought he handled it well. I thought he, for what it is that we asked him to do, I thought he remained poised. I thought he was one of our best shooters, three-point shooters for sure. And, I'd be a fool with Coach Ham now out of the fold to not want to bring back somebody who's proven to shoot well on our basketball floor when we've brought in so many specific guys to do that specific thing and they failed despite being quote unquote experts. So for me, it's like we found somebody that can actually shoot in this building. Okay, yeah. And the guy who overused him is gone. Okay, well, that works. That works. And then you think about bringing in JJ Redick. I can't think of a guy that I would expect to get more out of Taurean Prince and utilize him properly than a professional shooter like JJ. He'll know how to use a shooter better than you know how to use most, I'd imagine. So I think we'll get more out of Taurean Prince this year for asking him to do less. And he was fairly durable. And I think when we talk about all the injury issues we had, for better or for worse, our coach asked him to play 1 million minutes a game, and he played, over 65 games? I think that's a good bet. That was good for us, So that's really my point of view on Taurean. Am I irritated with Taurean? Only the thought of being in Darvin Ham's rotation. As somebody who can shoot the basketball for us, he was actually very reliable. As somebody who made me go, oh, you did more than I expected, especially in big moments like blocking shots and stuff like that. I thought he was pretty good. Does he have some real deficiencies? Yes, as most role players do. And if you overuse him, you're going to see those deficiencies a lot. And if you lean on him to be a successful piece for you, it's too much and you're not going to be successful doing it. We've already proven all of that. So if we can get him in a role that makes sense for who he is and somebody who knows how to utilize him properly, that's a hell of a piece. I think he's proven that. So yeah, would I bring Taurean back? So long as we're not bringing Darvin back. It don't happen together. But Taurean, just in a nutshell, as a basketball player on the team, yeah, he should be a great player off a bench. I think he's proven he can really help off the bench. Not too old. I think he's 31, 32 years old. Do I have a bad taste in my mouth? Only based on how Darvin used him. Other than that, I thought he was pretty damn good for us. So that's what it is. It's important that we don't overutilize anybody. I think if we overutilized Christian Wood, we would have been tired of Christian Wood. If we overutilized Max Christie, we would have been tired of Max Christie. You know what I mean? Anybody that's not supposed to be doing certain things that you have them doing, it's not gonna work out, and you're gonna be frustrated. You know what I'm saying? You can invert that and say if we only played LeBron James 20 minutes a night, yeah, you've been frustrated with that too. You don't see him enough. So anybody misused by a coach that's not getting the results that you're looking for in winning is going to frustrate you. And that is exactly what that was. Coach Ham believed in Taurean Prince probably a little too much, leaned on him too much and put him in bad situations. And as a result, it left Taurean looking bad. Didn't mean Taurean was bad. Give him a good coach, got a good Taurean, period. So that's what I think is there, man. That's what I see. What else is there to say? What else? Lakers related. I left a video up here ranting about how frustrated I am with the Celtics being in the finals. Yesterday, the Dallas Mavericks lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves to keep Minnesota alive. I don't think that's really good for Dallas. I don't think that's good for us who are rooting for Dallas because it showed a chink in their armor. And they have injuries. Dallas is starting to accumulate some injuries, and they don't need to be playing extra basketball. Luka Doncic needs as much rest as possible to heal those knees. I was listening to Ticket TV talk about he was frustrated with Luka settling for threes, but I know why he was settling for threes. Because he really can't move like that right now. He's not 100%. In fact, he's probably not even 80%. And he's settling for shots that he can take that keep him from taking on contact that he don't need to be taking on. That's why the next 2 weeks is so important for him to rest. And he can't get that rest if this series is extending. So as somebody who's rooting for the Dallas Mavericks to beat the Boston Celtics specifically, I hate that this series extended. I hate it. Because what you're doing is making so that Luka is playing more ball. And then you got Derek Lively with the head injury that I think kind of catered to why they didn't have enough last night. He may be back for game 5. Is he rushing back? I don't think that's a good idea. So they're starting to accumulate injuries. They brought back Maxi Kleber. Maxi Kleber was 2 and 3 steps slow, which is expected given the fact that he's missed for the last, 3 weeks? So it's like you're switching people into the lineup and asking Luka to play some center, had him guarding Cat and Carl and stuff like that with bad knees. I don't like how this is shaping up for Dallas as it pertains to them having enough energy to ultimately overcome what it is that they need to when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, the Boston Celtics. That's a problem for me. When you overcome the Boston Celtics, in order to, rather, you're going to need energy, healthy players, well-rested players, and then you got to play. Some of those role players are going to have to play above their pay grade because they got so much talent coming at them, especially since Porzingis is likely to be back for the finals. So that's a big deal. You're going to need Lively 100%. You're going to need Luka 100%. And you don't need anybody picking up any extra injuries. And extra basketball can, of course, lead to extra injuries. You get hurt playing ball. So if more games equals more chances to get hurt, and that is something Boston doesn't have a problem with right now because they took care of business. And Dallas Mavericks didn't. And so it was rather frustrating, but I understood it. And it was just a bad time for Kyrie Irving to have a bad basketball game last night. It really was. It was a bad time for him not to show up. And so that's kind of what happened there. And I said Dallas in 6. And I feel pretty confident that's probably how it's going to end up, because if Lively ain't back for Game 5, they're probably going to lose Game 5 as well. They really need Lively. They really need him out there. So letting Timberwolves go back home, that crowd going to be behind them. They found something that worked. They still got the size advantage without Lively on the floor. I expect Minnesota to probably take Game 5 as well. So that's a little frustrating, man. I don't want this series to extend any further than it already has. But Minnesota's a proud bunch, and now you let them see success. They done already defeated the defending champions, so they're going to start believing in themselves. You know what I'm saying? They're going to really start believing in themselves. So that's why you want to keep your foot on a team like that's neck, because they now starting to dream about doing something special. And Dallas, while I think they're a really good team, you start picking off Luka the Don and Derek Lively, and they are beatable. That is, simply put, they are beatable. So it's going to start getting weird for them if they do lose Game 5. I can tell you that. It's going to start getting really weird around there in Dallas. So, yeah, that's what happens when you don't take care of business, man. That's what happens when you don't have the urgency necessary to close a team out. I say you got to manifest urgency. I was listening to people talk about Kyrie Irving's statements before the game. He was saying, you know, it's Super Bowl for the other team. It's a regular game for us. Nah, that'll get you beat every time. That type of mentality and that type of jargon, that's you speaking the wrong way. If that's your mentality, it speaks to why it didn't work out for you. At the end of the day, the most important thing you want to do is put yourself in the strongest position to match the energy of the team that's desperate. If the team that you're going against is facing elimination, you got to tell yourself they need to win, so we need to win even more so to kick them out of here. You got to exceed the energy of the other team. You can't match it, and you certainly can't go in nonchalant. There has to be an elevation of emergency would be the word I say. Urgency and emergency. Because if they're going to come with the urgency and emergency to defeat you, and you don't match it, then you're automatically losing. And if you think you have a cushion, more basketball equals injury possibilities. Injuries can remove the matchups that you benefit from in regards to having the upper hand on them, and you look up and they can win Game 5, win Game 6, and now you're fighting for your damn life. In a situation where the other team has had so much success now against you and have been further removed from anything that would otherwise make them feel like they're in trouble. So that's the problem. That's the problem. Something special could happen if people take on injuries, and injuries are possible at all times. So I don't know. I think Dallas didn't bring it last night. Even though you're missing Derek Lively, at the end of the day, a guy like Kyrie Irving got to lead that team. He got to come out just like he did in the first half of Game 1 and try to run it up early, get his shots early. And I just thought he was a little more nonchalant than necessary to defeat a desperate basketball team. So that's what I think, man. Got to come out stronger. And that's pretty much it, man, as far as that is concerned. Like we said, we're waiting on the Boston Celtics are waiting on the Western Conference Finals, getting healthier, getting rested, hopefully getting rustier too. But, you know, at the end of the day, these are two teams, Dallas and Boston, that I think are going to match up pretty well with one another so long as everybody's healthy. I think that Dallas has a better bench than Boston, but Boston has a stronger starting lineup. And the one thing that I can say that concerns me about that matchup potentially is the two-way ability of everybody on the Boston Celtics starting lineup. You got certain things you can benefit from when you consider a guy like Rudy Gobert ain't going to do a whole lot offensively. You don't have to really worry about him. You got to worry about all 5 of them dudes in the Boston Celtics and the guys that are coming off the bench with on both sides of the floor. So it creates some more advantages for a Celtics team to attack from different angles and have more success on both sides of the floor. So that's really my concern right now for them. It's just, is Dallas benefiting a great deal from only having to worry about one side of the floor as it pertains to the center? You know, they're not really worried too much about some of the role players. Alexander may play well. He may hit a shot here and there, but they don't have to worry too much about him. Mike Conley, it's okay. He's much more dangerous going up against Jrue Holiday and Derek White. So that's what I'm looking at there. I think that the Minnesota Timberwolves are a more one-dimensional team than the Boston Celtics, and I think that could potentially hurt the Dallas Mavericks in these finals, assuming things pan out the way we expect them to. Boston is a very, very, very versatile team. So, yeah, man, that's really what I'm thinking there. And that's pretty much where we're at. I don't know what else to say. Of course, we talked about Bronny James and the potential of him being courted by the Suns. It's been reported that he only wants to work out for the Suns and the Lakers. I don't pay attention to a whole lot of the stuff that goes on with players that are specifically supposed to go in the second round or undrafted, but I do pay attention a great deal to the guys who are going top 3, and Bronny's stance in this regard is if he's a top 3 pick. You rarely hear about guys in his range only wanting to work out for 2 teams. And you rarely hear about guys in the top 3 willing to work out for more than 2-3 teams. Bronny probably has a guarantee, maybe, from either the Lakers or the Suns. And that's probably why he only wants to work out for those 2. But the thing you got to understand if you're in his range is the reason why a team can give a number 1 or a number 2 overall pick a guarantee is because there's not too many things that can go wrong between them being able to make good on that guarantee. I can guarantee to Zachary Richardson that he can go number 1 if I'm Atlanta. Not to say that he is, I don't know that, but I'm saying, like, for example, I can give him that guarantee because ain't nobody in a position to do anything about it. I got the number 1 overall pick. You know, I can guarantee Sarr number 2 in that same vein because there's only one thing that can go wrong, and it's Atlanta deciding to take it. So if he's available at 2, I can for sure tell him he's going to go at 2 because I'm not going to trade the pick, and it's only one step that can make it go wrong. With Bronny James, whatever guarantee he's been given, it's a lot of different things that can jump in the way of that actually being made good. You want as many teams to be familiar with you as possible so that if for some reason these guarantees don't work out, you are familiar with these teams and they are familiar with you. I don't think they're going about this the right way. They're posturing in such a way that speaks to him being better than he is, and all that's going to do is make people hate him even more and treat him even worse. I just think that they, you know, sometimes when people have a lot of power, they use it and they wield it in such a way that makes it so that everybody around them hates them. And I really think that Bronny James is stepping into that space, letting Clutch lead him down this path where he's only interviewing 2 teams. Bro, if your name's not James, you're supposed to go undrafted, fam. You don't need to be working out with 2 teams. You need to be working out with 22 teams. Not only because it's natural that a player in your caliber do that, but so that people will not have so much vitriol for the nepotism of it all. You want to at least act like you're trying to be one of the other guys. Clutch is on a power trip, and they're letting this kid be on that power trip, and he don't have the leverage nor the game to be like that. This is bad. If you're Bron, this is fine. If you're Bronny, this is bad, bro. You're asking for people to target you on and off as it pertains to different maneuvers that you want to do business-wise, the court. You're saying I'm above everybody, even though I'm not better than these people. And that, my friend, is a huge mistake when you're going into an arena with grown men. That's a huge mistake. When you can't back it up with your game, but you stepping all over the place with daddy's power, hell no, that's the wrong move, bro. I would interview for about 7 teams. There's a sweet medium you go for in this situation, whether the guarantee's been given or not. You interview with about 7 teams. That's what I would tell Bronny to do. Yeah, your power will allow for you to interview with 2 teams only. But when you utilize that power, you're creating enemies where it otherwise would be unnecessary. Humble yourself in the presence of people who don't have the privilege you have, and you won't have so many people wanting to target you with hate that is unnecessary. You're going to already have that hate anyway, but not as much as you're going to have for doing this. For doing this? Who is advising these people, bro? I don't understand it. It's almost like the people advising them secretly want them to fail, bro. That's how I feel. We're too good to interview for anyone other than the sons of the... Who do you think you are, bro? You're not Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr can say that. You Bronny James, bro. You are in the back of the draft at best. Nobody even wants to take you. They being forced to. If anything, you should be humble in that regard and want to be one of the guys, bro. Not sitting up here saying I'm about to botch the draft because of my name and I deserve to be here because of my dad. That's essentially what you're sending, the message you're sending. I deserve to be here because of what my daddy did. I only have to interview for 2 teams even though nobody has me on that mock draft. Like, whoever advised you to do that is on some elitist bull crap, and you're going to be hated because of it. Period. I'm telling you, Clutch been doing things I don't understand, bro. Y'all want to posture a certain way, but the kid is being sacrificed for you to do that. I don't know if people see it that way or not, but that's what it is. We're Clutch and we move a certain way. Yeah, but that kid ain't got that kind of leverage. He just attached to you. He just attached to you. That's it. And because you're posturing yourself in such a way that makes you the cream of the crop, he has to take the garbage that comes with that behavior. Nah, fam. I'm telling y'all, I don't like how they're moving. I don't like how they're moving as it pertains to this kid. When you're dealing with elite basketball players, you move that way. When you're dealing with somebody who's not even expected to be drafted but could potentially botch the entire draft board because of the nepotism in place, the last thing you want to do is put a target on his back like this, having him posture around like he's better than people. That is the wrong approach. The wrong approach. And given the fact that he potentially can go anywhere from first pick to not drafted at all, his range is vaster than anyone else's, he should be interviewing more teams. He should want to. This is backwards. It's backwards in a several different ways, in my opinion. And he the one that's going to have to suffer that. So I don't know, man. I just think people are doing things the wrong way when it comes to this kid. They've been doing things the wrong way. And if the Phoenix Suns take him, which I think is a good chance it's possible with 22, because that's Matt Ishbia, and he ain't about winning at all. At all. He's about the fluff. He's on his fresh Brooklyn Nets. That's what he on. That's literally all this is. If he could put together 7 superstars, he will do that. And he thinks it's going to make his team even more attractive. Like a damn Pepsi commercial. He's trying to make his team attractive rather than an actual winner. So if he can get Bronny James on the team, look, I got Bronny James, I got Kevin Durant, that's what it's about. It's not necessarily about these pieces actually fitting. And if he thinks that LeBron James is going to take a pay cut to take the bare minimum to go play with his son in Phoenix, I don't think he will. He may, but that team ain't going nowhere. That team ain't got the bigs to do anything. The defense is going to be awful. Half the team is old. You ain't got no cap space to get no kind of decent role players, and everybody you're bringing in has 1,000,000 miles on their leg, which means they're probably not going to be able to play 82 games. You bring in LeBron James, add him to Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker, And more than 3/4 of your team is likely to miss more than 3/4 of the season. Because you're going to be asking LeBron to play what? Center? Come on, man. You got Kevin Durant playing power forward against the field out here? Come on, man. At some point in time, you got to say, look, this is not mix and match. I like superstar names, so I'm putting them all together and expecting them to win. He doesn't expect them to win. He just got proven that last season. You know what he did? He said, let me go ahead and waste a 22 overall pick on a guy that's not even expected to be drafted. That's what he did. Let me go get Bronny James with the hopes of taking on LeBron James at $1 million. I think he is going to do that. I think it's a good chance that he does that. If the Lakers don't take Bronny at 17, I could totally see Matt Ishbia taking Bronny at 22 or finding a way to get a second round pick earlier in the second round to try to get him. Because he's not about winning. He's about putting together a commercial full of basketball names. That's it. It's a walking commercial. Look at my sons. Look at it. Like that type of stupid stuff. So, the team is going to suck. And I think he doesn't care. And if I'm a Suns fan, I'm running him out of there. That's exactly. I know Sarver was a bad owner for different reasons. He had off the court issues. He was not a great guy. And they did a lot of losing. So I'm not saying they're better under Sarver because they weren't. But Ishbia is ridiculous. He's like the poster child for the worst type of owner to let into the game. Because he's going to do stuff that doesn't make any sense at all. At all. He's going to tank the team for years to come so he can bring in names because he liked those names and he's heard of them. I'm telling you, it's a damn Pepsi commercial. Literally. That's all it is, bro. And so you put all these different names on the team. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if you try to get Reggie Miller out of retirement next or something like that. Like, that's the type of stupidity he on, if I'm being honest with y'all. So, he most definitely will be stupid enough to take Bronny James with the 22nd overall pick. He's most definitely dumb enough to do that. So, hey, that's where I think Bronny's going right now. Unless the Lakers call his bluff and try to take Bronny at 17 out of sheer desperation. Because they don't want to lose LeBron James, which is totally what this play is probably about. That's definitely what this play is about in my mind. So that's why I'm telling you the truth, man. I'm kind of done with all of this. The way that they're moving, the way the Clutch is moving, I don't like it. I don't like how they're moving. I mean, at the end of the day, the Lakers are willing to do everything for you, and you're still toying with us. The Matt Ishbia thing, Bronny's only going to want to interview for 2 teams. That's a mind game that I can very well do without if I'm a Lakers. I don't need that. I don't need that crap. I really don't need that. Trying to force me to take this man's son at 17. When we know damn well that's just flat out irresponsible in regards to the asset itself. It's irresponsible use of my asset. And they're essentially trying to back me into doing something that's going to be irresponsible for my franchise. So that they can keep the posture of them being Clutch. Like, that is some snooty nonsense that I think is stupid in the grand scheme of things. I really do. I think it's all stupid, to be honest with you. It's stupid posturing. And I don't like it. At all. And so that's my point of view, man. I just think the way this is set up, it's just meant for them to basically continue to force Jeannie's hand into doing irresponsible things for her franchise. And if that's what's required to make people feel special, then they need to get their special behinds off of my team. Like, literally. And I take my chances. So I think everybody should be very glad I'm not the owner of the Lakers, because I would definitely call all these people bluff. And I wouldn't do none of this stuff they want me to do. And I'd be happy if they leave. Off of the strength of how they behave. I'm just not wired for purposely cutting myself to make someone who's way up in the sky with their nose feel good about themselves. I'm not going to do that. So that they'll just stick around for me. As if sticking around is actually anything I want them to do in the grand scheme of things. I really don't. Bron and his son and Clutch and all of their needs can very well go to the Suns, bro. I will be happy with that. I'm telling you I would. Because at this point, it's cost too much to keep them happy. And the stuff that makes them happy makes us worse. Simply put. That's how I feel right now. I'm sick of these people. And I just wish LeBron didn't come with all of this. I really do. I think Bron, in a nutshell, pretty solid dude. I like him having on the court. I can count on him to make easy buckets happen. I can score so much easier with him on the floor. His three-point shots come around. I like Bron. But the circus that comes around with him, all of this, it's not worth it to me, man. It's not worth it. Having to deal with Rich Paul and them and all this stupid crap that comes with that, forcing us to mortgage picks and all this. I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that, bro. I personally don't want any of that. I don't believe it's necessary for me to win a championship to do any of that. I really don't. I don't think that's the only way for me to win a ring. In fact, I ain't winning too many rings doing it. Just being honest with you. We only won one ring doing this. I believe in putting together pieces that fit, and with the big market of the Los Angeles Lakers, attracting stars that way. I don't have to jump through hoops for people who want to posture a certain way, doing, having sword fights and sword measuring and all of that. I don't care about any of that. I'll do that if I'm a smart market, because I'll have to. But as the Lakers, I don't have to do any of that. You want me. And so it's almost like the Lakers don't recognize themselves, and I've been saying that for months now. It's almost like they don't have any self-awareness about what their power is as a market. These people chose us because of us, not the other way around. And just because we failed so bad before they got here doesn't mean that was as it seemed. We were coming off the Jim Buss era. He had run our franchise into the ground. Unless he's going to be returning, we're not going to be the same team that we were when he was in place. So why do we need to do all these different things for Clutch? As if we're afraid that that's going to happen. It's like they're using that fear against us, making us do stuff that's not good for us. That's what it looked like to me. I don't need to do that. If I want to be partners with somebody, that's cool, but it has to benefit me. You know what I'm saying? That partnership has to be beneficial. If I'm uncomfortable with that partnership and I'm moving all different types of ways to make these people happy, just for me to fall short of my goal any damn way, I can fall short of my goal different ways. I don't have to go through all the headaches. I don't have to, go through the stress and the pressure of trying to keep people happy when they ask me to do stuff that's going to make me unhappy any damn way. I don't believe in getting pushed around like that, bro. I really don't. I really don't. And so that's really my point of view, man. I like Bron the player, but all this extras, all this that needs to be so that he's on the team, I don't think it makes you good enough to win, man. I don't think these demands make us better, close enough to a championship. I don't think so. I think you're pushing yourself away from championship glory when you're doing all this. Be honest with you. So, I don't know, man. I think a lot of people are trying to posture themselves a certain way, and hopefully it all works out for the best for us as fans, man, because that's who I'm really rooting for at this point. Our front office people being able to scapegoat out and blame somebody else, that stuff is trash, man. I don't care about none of that. All of y'all can bounce. I really feel that way. Like, all of y'all can bounce. I don't need none of y'all. Just leave me with the colors at this point. If y'all ain't gonna do stuff that's gonna make us good enough or reset our situation so that we can at least be in a position to allow our own future be in place, man. We ain't got to mortgage a future, and it ain't absolutely necessary that we do things to hurt ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm good with that. But right now it feels absolutely necessary that we do things that flat out hurt our future, flat out hurt our present in some cases. And I don't know why the hell anybody would sign up for that. I don't know why anybody would let anybody have that type of mental hold on them. I really don't. So that's just how I see it, man. There's a lot of money to be made from having Bron on the team, even at 40 years old. And I think people are prioritizing that right now and more worried about what it looks like when Bron goes somewhere else than what it looks like if they do the wrong things in keeping him and having no future at all. That's what I think. And as far as Bronny James is concerned, I just think this kid got the wrong people pushing him toward doing certain things. And I think he should be handling his free agency, or rather his draft situation, with a lot more humility. A lot more humility. I don't think you interview for 2 teams. I think you interview for at least 7. Even if you do have that guarantee, you sit down and you show people you can play. Especially when it's a bunch of people who think you're only here because of your daddy's name. for which is actually true, based on the numbers and the measurements. So I don't like it, man. I don't like none of this. I don't like none of this. And that's just been my point of view for a while now. I like the Lakers. Always will love the Lakers as a fan, but the direction we're going in, I just got a feeling we're going to be really watching some bad basketball because of what people want to do right now. In the future, we're going to be watching some really, really bad basketball. And maybe Klutch still has the power they have in place to funnel us some talent so that doesn't happen. But this partnership needs to manifest into something a lot better than what it looks like it's forming into right now, man. It better. So that's my point of view. That's how I feel, man. I don't know, man. It's all gonna fall on Jeanie, man. If all this crap falls apart, if this Klutch partnership is our undoing, it's gonna be the fans blaming her, man. I ain't gonna be looking at none of the people she hired or none of that. You let Klutch push us into wherever we're headed. So I'm not gonna be looking at them too much if it fails and none of that. I'm gonna be looking at her, because these are the times when we needed her to say, you know what? Thank you, Klutch. I'm going in a different direction. Or, yeah, we can be in this partnership with all these different contingencies. I'm not signing up for any of those. This is when we needed her to do that, and instead she just let these people run amok. And I don't know what's gonna come of it, but it doesn't feel good. That's the reality of it. It doesn't feel good. So that's it, man. Welcome JJ Redick to the team. If you're gonna be coach, I'm happy to have you, man. Hopefully you're able to do it what is expected. And that's pretty much my whole point of view, man. I don't know what else to say. It's not my money on the line. BDL 44, I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.